Excerpt from Reptilian, an audiobook novelette by Brian Tyree. A middle-aged librarian reshelved books in a dark aisle, lit only by a dangling lamp with a faded yellow bulb. Her reading glasses hung low on the tip of her nose as she angled her head back to read the spine of a book. A soft rattle sounded in the distance. A most peculiar sound for a library at night, she thought. She heard the rattle again, much closer, noticing the hair on her arm stand upright. She peered through books on the shelf toward the rattle, but could only see darkness. She crept to the end of the aisle, curious, then froze, startled by the loud and primal rattle only a few feet away. The dry, bony rattle rapped so fast against a wooden bookcase it sounded like a machine gun. The book fell from her hand, and she found herself paralyzed from her own terror. Her legs felt as heavy as iron as she took 2 steps back, stopping flush against a bookcase. The only mobility came from her eyes as they flicked back and forth down the long aisle, looking for the rattle. Her mouth opened but couldn't break the paralysis to force a scream. Suddenly, 2 scaly arms thrust through books behind her, wrapping around her frame. The muscular arms flexed, as thick as pythons, crushing her ribs. She shrieked, writhing in pain, and grasped at the creature's frayed lab coat, tearing something free. In a fierce heave, Drelinger tugged her backward, yanking her through the foot-high bookshelf. Her spine snapped in a sickening crunch, and she folded in half, legs thrusting up to meet her flailing arms. She released the shiny object, and it hit the linoleum in a tinny clink. Her body disappeared, yanked into blackness. Sounds of breaking bones and tearing flesh emanated from the dark, followed by the gnashing of teeth, crude gulps, and a sloppy ingestion of the middle-aged librarian. Download the audiobook of Reptilian now at Audible, iTunes, or Amazon.